Every state on our borders now licenses labour hire. Queensland has since 2018, Victoria since 2019, South Australia extended its scheme to all industries this year. The ACT has licensed labour hire since 2021. New South Wales, the largest state economy in the country, and which should be a nation leader, is instead a laggard, with no scheme to regulate labour hire at all. When one jurisdiction regulates and its neighbour does not, the unregulated side becomes a magnet for bad faith actors. When dodgy operators are shut down in other states, they don't leave the market when they lose that licence. They just up sticks and relocate across the border into New South Wales. The National Anti-Slavery Commissioner has confirmed exactly this, telling a parliamentary committee that both the Victorian and Queensland authorities had provided information that dodgy providers were moving into New South Wales as a direct result of our absence of enforcement. The McKell Institute has sought to quantify the scale of this issue. Their report, called Exploitation Magnet, examined every cancelled labour hire licence in Queensland and Victoria and found 63 businesses, around 1 in 20, whose licences had been cancelled interstate, show evidence of still operating here in New South Wales. And as those researchers make clear, that is almost certainly an undercount. Those figures represent real stories of real abuse and exploitation. The New South Wales Anti-Slavery Commissioner has laid it out for this Parliament in heartbreaking detail. In the berry fields of Coffs Harbour and the Nambucca Valley, a system of exploitation proliferates. Labour hire syndicates target the most vulnerable migrant workers: Pacific workers, Vietnamese and Timorese workers, international students and the undocumented. These syndicates run vertically integrated operations, controlling recruitment, transportation, accommodation and pay. Some workers don't know who they are employed by. It's just a WhatsApp group that tells them where to go and then a bank transfer with no pay slip or justification for the rate of pay. And because there is no licensing system in this state, there is no barrier at all to criminals or people with a history of abuse simply setting up shop and preying on vulnerable workers. You don't even need to be in the country. The Commissioner detailed operations run from offshore through encrypted apps using a departing international student's name and bank account as a disposable front. What that system produces should shame us all. Workers overcharged for unsafe, unsanitary, overcrowded accommodation. Wage theft is so routine, the Commissioner calls it rampant, achieved through a technique called pay splitting, where one pay slip is made to look legitimate, while the wage behind it is quietly divided among several workers, defrauding auditors and clients alike. Passports are withheld, mobility restricted, workers are told that they need permission to leave their lodgings. The Commissioner has verified accounts of a worker intimidated out of seeking medical help for a colleague with a life-changing injury, of syndicate members discharging firearms in workers' presence, of recurring sexual harassment, and of one site that may have operated as an illegal brothel involving forced labour. And around all of it, a wall of silence. Producers who cooperate with authorities are threatened with being blackballed, cut off from the labour they need to bring in a harvest. And here is perhaps the most damning line in the whole submission. An informant told the Commissioner, quote, "We are all pretending not to see the elephant in the room. We all know there is a system of labour exploitation, but we are too scared to name it. And government agencies just cannot see what is right in front of them," end quote. Workers are being failed by our lack of licensing scheme. Communities are being failed and intimidated. There is no justification for delay. Victoria's Labour Hire Authority is funded entirely by the licence fees it charges the businesses it regulates. It runs a surplus. The sector pays for its own oversight. The only real cost to the budget is the initial setup, and after that, the scheme carries itself, so there is no excuse. We've been waiting for a national scheme, but it keeps failing to materialise. The national model was agreed in principle by ministers in December 2023. More than 2 years on, there is no enacted law, no operating regulator and no commencement date. 3 different Commonwealth ministers have held the portfolio. Negotiations for a nationally harmonised scheme broke down after the Queensland, Tasmanian and Northern Territory government declined to participate further in October 2025. That was more than 9 months ago. 9 months where the New South Wales government could have progressed a New South Wales scheme. Meanwhile, our workers remain exposed. And what we know is that the people who have a say in shaping the national scheme, if it were to materialise, will be those with their own schemes. By establishing a New South Wales scheme now, we will strengthen our hand in the national negotiations. The latest episode of Four Corners was a damning indictment on the state of play that the New South Wales Labor government is presiding over, permitting worker exploitation of the most outrageous kind. The Commissioner has urged the government to act for years. He says a lack of urgency suggests a failure to understand that modern slavery is happening now. It is wreaking havoc in the lives of vulnerable workers. The case for waiting has run out. This government has left its workers and the honest businesses that compete against those exploiting them without anyone to defend them. The simplest thing we can do is provide one.